And so they asked her, they said, talk to us a little bit about the stages of your wealth. And and we're talking about the wealth that she created outside of what she was born with. Now, what she said in the very beginning was, well, I always used to think if I only got to 100 million, then I'd be really, really good. But then when I got to 100 million, I was like, well, I'll be really good once I get to 1 billion. So what I want to call out here is not that she, started off with an inheritance, and not that we're talking about crazy 9-figure numbers and billion. Like, I don't want to talk about that. What I want to call out here is that someone who I think all of us would agree is the definition of privileged, right? She has even built a brand around how privileged she is. She is the prototype for what our society leverages as being someone who should be super successful. She is skinny. She is blonde. She has blue eyes. She is rich. She is all of these things, right? That indicate that she should be wildly successful in our society. And here she is saying to herself that she had her own version of scarcity mindset around whether or not what she had would be the thing that would make her feel comfortable. She's never known a day of financial discomfort in her life, and yet she still had that. So knowing that, and knowing that she still manages to operate without it, even though every single piece in her world is set up where she will not experience loss if she gets something wrong, what makes you, friend, think that you are any different? What makes you think you're any different? Obviously, people like us, if Paris Hilton can have it, you better believe that people like us who actually have experienced what it's like to live with some degree of having to make a choice around a financial thing. Most of us are a long ways away from being in a place where we can say, oh, we're swiping the card, and we never, ever, ever think about it for any sum. I'm grateful that I am now at a point in my life that when I go to the grocery store, I'm not looking at the balance, that I don't worry about whether or not my card is going to say approved or declined. I'm not at a place in my life where when I go to the gas pump, I'm checking to see if I have $1 on the card because I know I'm going to max it out, but it's okay because, my next check is going to hit before direct deposit, on the next day. And I know that I'm not going to get that overcharge. Y'all, I know that life because I also grew up without. I have been, below the poverty line, and I've also, and I'm currently in the 1%, so I know the full extreme of that life. And understand that it's that knowledge that, one, makes me so abundantly grateful for where I am now. And it's also that knowledge that allows me to speak to you to let you know that don't let the poverty trauma keep you from pursuing what is your birthright, especially as someone who is a good person, especially as someone who I know if you had every dollar in the world would give back, would show up, and would serve completely. I think that we have all got to revamp the way that we talk about money. It's the powers that be that already have it that want to keep us from having conversations around what do we make? How do we get it? Where do we go? What can we do? Sharing that knowledge from the boardroom with the regular folk in the break room is what allows the people who are going to do some incredible things to be able to have the ability to do those things. We want to have comfort with talking about money as something that we deserve. Understand that it is a backwards thinking and it is disserving to feel that we shouldn't share what we know about how to get where we want to go. And it's exciting for me to talk about money the way that I do, because I genuinely know, as somebody who has come from nothing to the same tax bracket as Mark Zuckerberg, at the very bottom of it though, and I got thoughts about that, all right, but at the very bottom of it, that I am able to tell people, look, it's possible.